Welcome to Relax Time Radio, broadcast nightly from 7:30 to 9 p.m. on Radio Thailand, Chiang Mai.
Hey, welcome. You're here with me and Lily, Paul
Hello.
and Lily.
Hi. How
Hi.
are you doing today?
Not so bad, yeah.
Got over
Yeah.
your cold and cough?
Yeah, and also my black eye there's like a tiny little bit of it left.
Okay.
My black eye from the flute.
Okay. What am I thinking? What happened there?
One of my flutes hit me in the eye.
Oh, wow.
I think I was playing on New Year's Eve. Something was bound to go wrong on New Year's Eve, you know.
Yep.
All right, so we're here. It's a Sunday show. That means it's jazz, blues, and soul. And it's just me and you. We're going to keep the topic light, aren't we?
Yes,
Light and breezy.
yes.
And mainly just play some of our favorite music. But we are going to actually...
Sorry.
Oh, okay,
I thought
yeah.
I turned it off.
I can hear myself.
Yep.
Yeah, we're also going to play... we're also going to be reading out some quotes from famous musicians about music.
And philosophers, right? Also. You
Yeah.
had one by Nietzsche.
Well, I've ditched that one and I've left the
okay.
one by Plato. But there we go. We still got Plato in there. I found
Okay.
some others that I liked better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we like music, so I'm not a musician, but you are. But I enjoy listening to music, and I like sharing music. So
Yeah.
it makes me happy anyway.
And this is the irony, but I really like the article. We're also going to look at a study done at Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
That sort of looked at the relationship between people's musical taste
And their personality.
and their personality.
That is interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah. So looking forward to
Right.
having a
It's
look
fun
at
to
that.
share, I
Yeah,
think.
fun. It's
Yeah.
fun to have a look at. Yeah, think about. Okay, so
First
let's
song, maybe.
play some music, and I will, in the meantime, share our YouTube live stream on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I
So,
was about to share it.
oh really? If you can, yeah, I can do it if you can.
I'm
But,
gonna-
well, no, because I haven't renamed it yet. I got to
Oh,
rename
okay.
it. So I'll do that while we're playing the music.
Okay.
Yeah. We're
I got
on
the link.
Relax Time Radio on Facebook. If you'd like to send us a song request,
Yes,
or
please.
maybe
Yeah.
your favorite quote about music, Yeah.
I'm sure everybody has one.
or quote your own mind. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. What does music mean to you? So the first song of the night is going to be a classic from John Lee Hooker,
All right.
House Rent Boogie. I love this one.
The house rent boogie. I told the landlady I done lost my job and I didn't have the rent. She said, I don't care about you ain't got the rent. It's all I want is my money. You've been here 3 weeks and you ain't paid a dime. Give me 1 more week to get the money together. So I'm gonna give you 1 more week. You're gonna have the rent out the door you're gonna go. The next week come, I didn't have the rent. And I come in, I sneaked in the house late that night. That morning come, she knocked on my door. So I want my money right now. I said, lady, now all day long trying to find a job and I ain't found nothing. And I've been here for quite a little while. Said I want my money right now. I said, wait till I go out in the street and come back. Taking my old guitar, go out in the street on the corner. I sat down. I said, fellas, some give me a nickel, and some give me a dime, and some give me a quarter. And I pay right there for you all day long. Cause I can't go home The old landlady got my clothes on the porch. I don't like that stuff. I prayed and I prayed. When I got to the house, my rent I owed was $36 and something for the 3 weeks. I only had $10 of that money. And I told her, I said, I made $10 a day. Give me 3 days and I get the rest of it. She said, all righty. When the 3 days come, I was $6 short. She threw me in the street in all of my clothes. I said, fellas, you're gonna never get behind your rent if you can help it, because it's hard. Throw your clothes in the street. I mean in the street, in the dead open street. Got nowhere to go. It's cold outside. You don't like that stuff. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I picked up my clothes. I slowly walked away. It was cold, it was snowing. I was hungry out of job. I had no place to go. I goes to my sister-in-law's house. She acted all funny. I stood around till it got late that night. And she kept yawning, you know. She wouldn't cook. She eat in the kitchen one at a time. And I sit there. After a while, she said, well, we got to go to bed. And you know, we crowded up here. We wanted to stay all night, but we ain't got no place for you to stay. Now, that's the way your people do you. The house rent boogie. 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 I'm outdoors.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
That was the Animals with the House of the Rising Sun.
Okay, I didn't expect that song to come up.
Oh, yeah?
Right after John Lee Hooker. So but that
Yeah,
was a
I don't know.
nice-
There's not
that's
always
nice.
logic to the way I put a playlist together, really. But well, the House of the Rising Sun is a really old song.
I love it.
I forget. It's like, I think it's sort of disputed exactly where the origins
Yes,
in New
well,
Orleans somewhere.
yeah.
But anyway, the Animals version is the what's the most famous version, and that organ sounds amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's what makes the
beautiful.
song.
Yeah,
that version.
probably.
The
Yeah.
organ just sounds incredible.
I love this song. It brings back memories of younger days.
Yeah.
You used to listen to it.
I used to love the house rent boogie when I was a student back in England because I could really sympathize.
Okay. So you chosen the topic today. I will to share a few quotes about music.
Well, let's talk about the first one that I shared, which is like on the
Yeah.
post that we just made. That was just for fun, because that's a Miles Davis quote. In Europe, they like everything you do, the mistakes and everything. That's a little bit too much. You got to imagine it in Miles Davis's voice, which I guess
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and imitate. That's a little bit too much.
I think it's amazing. I mean, even if the mistakes,
Well, the reason it's so funny is because like most of Miles's quotes are like more like there are no mistakes.
Yeah.
He said that, and other things like that. Yeah, and he also said like if you make a mistake, I think he also said if you make a mistake, the next note can fix it. The next note can make it not a mistake.
Yeah,
The
we-
next note can make it right.
Okay, yeah, which is what maybe the basis of jazz, improvising in jazz, for example.
It's definitely part of it. Yeah, definitely. So should we look at like the most ancient quote I could find about music?
What is the most ancient quote
Well,
you can find?
and the other, the most ancient quote is Plato.
Okay, Plato
um,
is more ancient than Shakespeare, I guess. Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Plato said, "Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and light to everything.
I think
Life
so.
to everything."
I agree. Music and art for me, but yeah, I think so.
That's a pretty good one. There was a quote about what is it? Shakespeare's
If music be the food of love, play on.
play on. Yeah.
In 12 nights. Yeah. I mean that was the first thing that came to mind when you mentioned quotes from music, because I had to study Shakespeare in school and in college, so those things stick in your mind.
Yeah. Lucky you actually. Yeah, I remember. I read. My dad used to read Shakespeare's poems to me when I was a kid.
I mean, some beautiful, obviously Shakespeare. I mean, I used to have to memorize them. First you didn't like them, and then, or at least you didn't understand them. But when you understood what was going on, it's they're beautiful words.
Yeah.
He writes beautifully.
And and he created sort of these worlds that we could inhabit. These like wonderful worlds. Yeah. Yeah, massa.
So what which is your favorite quote?
I
did
don't
you-
know. Well,
did you
I've-
like the Plato quote? I'm
let me think. No, a favorite quote. I don't know, but I've got a few here.
Mhm.
Maybe just give a couple. Let's see. Well, I tried to mix it up with like serious and deep and philosophical and funny.
Yeah.
Frank Zappa's got a good one. Without music to decorate it, time is just a bunch of boring production deadlines or dates by which bills must be paid.
I mean, because he is a musician, so for
Yeah.
him,
Well, yeah, but Frank Zappa was a sort of believed in using the absurd, and so yeah, I like his take on it.
yeah, he's Frank Zappa.
Beethoven said, "Music is a higher revelation than all wisdom and philosophy."
Do you think the times that those words were spoken by different people affected how you saw music there? Maybe like in the Renaissance, maybe music was for pleasure, for education, for cultural purposes.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, we don't know how revolutionary these quotes sounded in the people's times.
Yeah.
Whether it was sort of down the line of the society at the time or something rebellious. We don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure either. This one, like as someone who's played a bit of jazz, and there are always people sort of asking questions what jazz is, and there are different interpretations. So I like this one from Louis Armstrong. If you have to ask what jazz is, you'll never know.
Yeah. In college, I was introduced to jazz in college. I heard some jazz, and I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. But I went to somebody had a free ticket and took me to a concert, the jazz concert, and I did ask, so what's the difference between jazz and pop and all? Then he looked at me and like, you have to ask, it's just different. So,
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, a lot of people, like we've talked about this before, a lot of people don't like the term jazz. It was something that was sort of imposed from the outside onto the music that the musicians were playing. But once something's like sunk in like that, it's hard to get rid of. So there's still
Labels, I mean, they are labels.
yeah, just labels.
But it helps to maybe recognize, help people understand what kind of genre of music, or I don't know.
There's a quote that many people have made, like in different forms, but it's more or less, there's good music and there's bad music. That's it.
Possibly. But I think they're more it's more nuanced than that.
No, I don't necessarily
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with that. But when
Yeah.
they were just using that to sort of attack the idea of labeling different genres, maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That
Um,
also is not right. Yeah.
Well, one quote that I like that has relevance for what we're going to be talking about later on with music genres and your personality, like this idea from this study that the type of music
You
people like is related to their personality. But the Charles Mingus, the great jazz bassist, composer, said, "Tastes are created by business interests." How else can you explain the popularity of Al Hirt? We would have to explain. I had to look this up myself, but
Yeah,
Al
Al
Hirt
Hirt.
was a trumpeter that maybe played, a popular kind of pop
Music,
kind of
yeah,
jazz
pop,
or
yeah,
popular
pop.
kind of music. But Duke Ellington actually said something similar when he was asked. I remember he was asked it in an interview in the airport when he just arrived in somewhere in Scandinavia, maybe Finland, I forget. But what he thought about people's taste and whether young people were still listening to jazz, and he said the same kind of thing. He said, "What the music that the music that is marketed has nothing to do with music. It has to do with business." So he was trying to say that if people are liking some other music, pop music, and not liking jazz anymore, he felt that was to do with business and not to do with music. And I have a lot of sympathy with that view.
Obviously.
Because people can sell something that's new. It's harder to sell something that's older. And like my experience of music would be when I've come across live music played well by people who love it and are so into it, it doesn't matter whether it's blues or jazz or whatever,
Doesn't. What I love is seeing musicians. I mean, really feeling and seeing that they are enjoying it. The playing in front of an audience, or I can see on their faces. The way they play. That makes me really excited to enjoy the music a lot more as a listener, as an audience. So I guess. Well, music is the food of life. I think probably more for you than for.
Yeah, but I listen to music a lot. Obviously, like most people, I think, when I was like young. But I never became a musician, and I think it was because of the lack of. I didn't have like much exposure to live music when I was a kid. Very little.
But you listen to records and.
Yeah, a lot of records.
Yeah.
But not much exposure to live music, and I think that put a separation in my mind. I just assumed it was like a very remote thing, too difficult for me to get to. Whereas like when I came here and was sort of surrounded by musicians and musicians were my friend, then like that's when I started to learn music.
Oh, did you only when you came
Yeah.
here? Wow. Okay. That's an incredible journey then.
Yeah. Okay, let's play some music. We have some
Yeah.
requests. Well, we have one request.
so far.
We're still hoping for some more. A request
John's
from John.
request, Cap Moore and Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Don't Leave Me Here. Okay, so that's for John. And actually, I'm going to follow that with another Taj Mahal song, Statesboro Blues. What? It's originally not a Taj Mahal song. I think it might be...
I'll Google
is it
it.
Willie Dixon? Forget who it is. Anyway.
Well, Willie Dixon, he had some quotes about music too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's play some music. And if you'd like to get in on the musical quotes or send us a song, please do send it to our Facebook page. You could send it to our YouTube live stream. Or you could call 053 276 793. All right, this is for you, John, Taj Mahal and Keb Mo with Don't Leave Me Here.
How the weather down south, how the weather in the delta, how the food tastes in your mouth. Butter beans and cornbread, grits and greens, candy yam and black-eyed peas. If you gone to Mississippi, where that delta sky is sweet and clear. Stuck here in Chicago, please don't leave me here. When you see Ludella, tell her hey for me. Last time I saw her, it was in my dreams. She's the sweetest thing under the sun. When I think about some love, she's still a woman. Now if you're going to Mississippi, where that delta sky is sweet and clear. Well, you know I'm stuck here in Chicago. Please don't leave me here. What they doing in Vicksburg, down in Aberdeen? They got more fine big leg women in them one man. What they doing in Jackson and Little old Ida Bean? I ain't been to Clarkdale since 1963. Cause if you gone to Mississippi, where that delta sky is sweet and clear. Y'all, I'm stuck here in Chicago. Please don't leave me here. Sure cold up here. Baby run off and left me late last year. It was just before Christmas. Deep, deep snow on the ground. Came home late over in the evening. She done tore my playhouse down. So if you gone to Mississippi, where that delta sky is sweet and clear. Y'all, I'm stuck here in Chicago. Please don't leave me here. Don't leave. Please don't leave me here. Statesboro, Georgia, that is. Woke up this morning, had them Statesboro blues. Looked over in the corner, grandma, grandma had them too. Mama died and left me reckless, Papa died and left me wild. I ain't good looking, baby, but I'm someone sweet angel child. Going to the country, baby, do you wanna go? I know if you can't make it, your sister Lucille says she wanna go. You know I love that woman better than any woman I'd ever seen. Yes, I love that woman better than any woman I'd ever seen. She treat me like a king, I treat her like he was a doggone queen. Wake up, mama, turn your lamp down low. Wake up, mama, turn your lamp down low. Have you got that nerve drop Papa tart from your door?
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
That was Taj Mahal with Statesboro Blues. We've had a few song requests in. Thanks for that, Steve.
You got
Coming
that.
up,
Okay.
After Dark, Tito and Tarantula. That's going to come up. And then we've got a song request for Tom for a song
Sunny
called
Please
Sunny Please by
by
Sonny Rollins. I actually can't find...
There's this, it's probably an album, so
Yeah.
you can pick a nice song. You always pick a.
Well,
good
actually,
song.
yeah, there is a song on that album called Sunny Please. I just can't find it. I guess it's a single song. But
yeah.
anyway, we'll work it out.
And also, Tom shared a quote, something by Stevie Wonder about music.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been looking for the full quote. I think this is what he meant. I think this is the one, Tom, that you mentioned. Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand. I think that is the line that he was looking for.
Okay. Yeah, like a universal language idea.
Yeah, I think
nice
so.
one.
You don't need words, right?
Yeah, right. It's a deeper language than words, right? And everybody speaks it. Yeah, some musicians like Bobby McFerrin, they go around the world giving concerts and they get the whole audience involved. And he does this thing with the pentatonic scale, and he says wherever he goes, people understand, the pentatonic scale, can sing it.
Yeah, I've seen him do that on TEDx.
All right, so a couple more quotes then. This one is maybe about playing. From John Coltrane. You can play a shoestring if you're sincere. So he's meaning that you don't need the greatest instrument. It doesn't matter what instrument you play. His feeling, I guess, at that time was, if you mean it, then it's gonna sound good on whatever you're playing.
Okay, so if I knock against my head, and this rhythm, it'll be fine.
Yeah. No.
If I enjoy
What's a
it.
Brazilian musician? There's a Brazilian musician called. I'll find his name in a minute, but he played his body.
Okay, yeah.
I'll find it right now. It's an album by that's right. It's Hermeto Pascoal.
Oh, okay.
So you can see him on YouTube, just playing different parts of his body and making like fantastic rhythms.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
He was, in any case, a multi-instrumentalist, played everything from flutes to keyboards to saxophone, whatever. But he also, just the
Why
body
not?
is good enough.
Wow.
Good enough for him. Here's a one I like, a funny one about like maybe musicians would get it more than non-musicians. But Wes Montgomery said, "I never practice my guitar. From time to time, I just open the case and throw in a piece of raw meat."
And I feed the muse, feed the beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a funny one. Never heard it. Yeah. I was looking for like really serious, deep quotes, but you know.
Well, yeah, like I said, I was looking for both ends of things. Here's one from Thelonious Monk. "A genius is the one most like himself." I actually found other quotes that are very, very similar to this one. You know,
Oh, really?
yeah, there's a load of quotes similar to this.
A genius is one most like himself.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of quotes out there which sort of expand on this idea that if you're trying to play like other people, you're not really playing, you're not really playing yourself, and this
Because
kind of thing.
Music's it's supposed to come from your heart, right?
Mm.
Your soul, your deepest being. So it should be who you are. I mean, it's an expression. I think like art is.
Right. Miles
music
Davis.
is an art form.
Miles Davis has another one that's something along the lines of, play what's not being played. Don't play what's already being played. That's one that musicians will understand. Because it's easy to hear what the bass is already playing. Maybe the piano is already playing, something like that. If you're just playing that, you're not adding necessarily
More
anything.
to it. Yeah, okay. There's also something about the silence between notes that's the very powerful. I'll go something, but not
Yeah.
music is not just one. You just
Right.
keep hearing sounds, but there is also silence between notes that makes it just as beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for the quotes now.
Here's one more from Billie Holiday, which I like. It's "I can't stand to sing the same song the same way 2 nights in succession. If you can, then it ain't music."
Yeah,
And
that's good for me from the audience point of view.
that's really true. You can go and like check this out on Billie Holiday. There are loads of versions of her singing many of the songs
The
she
same
sang,
song but different.
but she's never sang it the same way twice. Not even close. Not even close.
That's interesting. I mean, that's good. That's the mark of I think a great musician too, right?
Right. There are some musicians that take this to extremes. That there's one famous saxophone player. I don't remember if it's John Zorn or someone else, but they won't play anything that they feel like they've played before. So like if there's a melody, so literally the extreme would be there's a song. The song has this melody. They won't play if they've played that already. They won't play that again.
So they will have to improvise on the spot, or
Yeah.
find new ways
So
of
this is like
playing.
at the extreme. So that someone who believes in improvisation to that extent, always trying to play something new.
well, that something amazing could come out of that.
Yeah, right.
So what's the next amazing song are you going to play for us?
Well, since we have a few requests in, I'm gonna play those. So, I guess I'm gonna play this for Steve first because it came in first. So, "After Dark" by Tito and Tarantula.
Oh.
And I don't know really whether Sonny Rollins will follow that, but we'll make it follow that for Tom. Okay. So here you go, Steve. This is for you.
Thank you for your
After
request.
After Dark, and keep the requests coming in. Send them to Relax Time Radio's Facebook page, the YouTube live stream, or call 053 276 793. All right, back in a bit.
What dawn, I wake up to find her gone, and a note says only after dark. In my heart, a deep and dark and lonely part wants her and waits for after dark, after dark, after dark, after
change the name of this town.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
All right, we're back. That was Lucinda Williams, Change the Locks. That was for Steve again, not Sonny Rollins. Sonny Please. Sonny Rollins, Sonny Please is coming up next. I listened to it while we were off air, and I decided it couldn't follow due to a tarantula. So we'll be playing that next for you, Tom. Sonny Rollins, Sonny Please, off the album of the same name. So I think we've done enough musical quotes. Let's get on to the music preferences and music and personality.
Yeah, personality, yeah.
All right, so what did you find out?
Well, so should we just jump straight? I mean, this was one study done in Edinburgh, as you said, but on 36,000 people around the world. So it's actually quite a
big study.
big study. So I don't know whether you would agree with this. I'm just going to jump. So maybe fans. Let's start with pop music.
Yep.
Okay, so it says here fans of top 40 pop hits tend to be extroverted, honest, and conventional. While pop music lovers are hardworking and have high self-esteem, researchers suggest that they tend to be less creative and more uneasy. I don't know whether to dispute or not, but yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, I suppose the only I suppose you could break things down. It would be interesting to know, like, what was the average age of someone that said they like pop music, because maybe it declines over time. You know, like, it's natural that younger people would be into pop music because it's the stuff that's being put out there by the music industry, marketed. It's like everywhere, all over the place, published. It's on radio, all the streaming services, whatever. So that's natural. And then less creative. I don't know about less creative, but more uneasy. That just sounds like teenagers to me. I was uneasy. I was more uneasy when I was a teenager, because it's like a stressful time that you're trying to fit in and you're trying to sort of align yourself with what you think is cool. Right.
What's current?
So that's all that suggests to me. I don't know about anybody else.
I think it would be interesting to see the questions that they asked. What were the questions that led them to this kind of conclusions? But,
sure. Yeah. Well, they did, because they would have been a psychology department, so they would have had personality questionnaires to test this, and you know, there are different ones. They're standardized. They're mostly accepted, but you know, you might have there might be people that have problems, and there certainly are, like, disputes over what qualifies as a good personality questionnaire. Yeah.
Okay, so the next category, rap and hip hop music. So I know. I mean, I think a lot of people have that stereotype that rap lovers are more aggressive or violent, and researchers actually from this study have actually found no such link. Rap fans do tend to have high self-esteem and are usually outgoing. Yeah, I think they are pretty outgoing people. It
makes sense. Like, for me, because a lot of hip hop, especially lately, has quite a very laid back, slow beat. That's not, you know, when I think of like aggressive music, I tend to think of something like much faster and pushing, not so laid back. So, you know, the lyrics themselves can be about all sorts of things.
I
that
think
can just be like social protest, or I don't know what I'm talking about.
Rap and hip hop had maybe had a bad reputation for the kind of lyrics that were expounded. You know, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a sort of older view now, because it's become such a dominant form of music in the world and spread everywhere. So now it's rightfully taken more seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. What about rock and heavy metal music?
I was never like. Well, I don't know if
Would you think it's more aggressive? You know, people who like this kind of music are more aggressive, more creative?
Well, this research sort of suggests that
Yeah, usually.
fans of this style of music are usually quite gentle and
yeah.
often introverted and may suffer from low self-esteem.
Oh,
Which kind of, I mean,
makes sense actually.
well,
in
it
a
makes
way.
sense, and from my experience, I have friends that were quite reclusive and they were into this, into like heavy metal. I don't know if I don't know if it's fair to lump rock or what it means to say that, like for example, is classic rock the same as heavy metal? I don't.
No,
It's not for
yeah,
me.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
classic rock's more blues based, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So I don't know how they would like lump those two together, and if it's the same kind of people that like them. I don't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe they should have been a separate genre together. But
Mm.
I mean, gentle. That's interesting because like for example, okay, never mind. We'll come to that for classical music. I think different genre. I'll come to that. Anyway, indie. What about indie music?
Indie music.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for a start, I was having this talk with a musician friend of mine who's sort of like known for being in the indie genre, but we were trying to work out what indie music means. Even I mean, it's changed. The meaning of indie music has changed over the years. But indie music is supposed to mean just music that's independently produced. So it could
Yeah.
be any. So then you'd have to say, what do you mean by indie music? I guess, some things we think of like maybe unfairly as indie music when it might not actually be independent music. It might be big labels. So the meaning of indie has changed. So if we're meaning stuff like, well, what is indie music?
I mean, for me, it's some lonely person sitting with his or her guitar on the stage and playing her own lyrics, her own music, something that she wrote herself.
Right.
And usually with some heart-wrenching lyrics. So that, I don't know why. It just that's the first thing that jumps to mind when I think of indie music.
Yeah, right.
But I'm probably wrong.
No, I mean, yeah, that kind of can jump to my mind too, and yeah.
So people like that may tend to be more, introspective, introverted.
Well, that's what the research
yeah.
sort of suggests, isn't it? That they're introverted, intellectual, and creative. And sadly, for those of you out there that consider yourselves indie, they also say less hardworking and less gentle.
I don't think so. I think actually,
don't
if
know. Yeah,
anything, they'll probably be harder working because they are trying to share their music. Maybe, maybe just indie music meaning people not connected to any big labels.
I think maybe this article is perhaps reduced things a little bit, because when in the top introduction they said they looked at more than 104 different musical styles, but when it comes down to like the results that are in this like article we have, there's only a few, and then we're asking ourselves the question, well, how can you what is rock and heavy metal, is it, and what's indie music?
Yeah.
Dance music is clearer. The next
Okay.
one isn't
Yeah.
like we can understand. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes more if people dance to it, is dance music. I can understand that.
Yep. And they're usually more outgoing and
Yeah.
daring people who enjoy themselves and don't care what people think. I think they'll just get on stage and dance.
Yeah.
Or in the disco.
Right.
So apparently they tend to high rank on the trait of openness to experience,
Yeah.
one of the 5 major personality traits. People who prefer fast-paced electronic music also tend to rank low on gentleness. I don't know. I seem to make a lot of assumptions that I'm not quite comfortable with.
Right. Yeah. You'd have to know a lot about about the way that they do the personality studies.
I think it's just some stereotypes here, but anyway.
But the thing about like gentleness is when they do these personality studies, they're not actually suggesting that people who rank low on gentleness are engaging in violent behavior or anything like that. There's just that it's just some. Yeah, because I've read about like personality studies and looked at a few times. So just because someone ranks in a certain way, like for example gentleness or not gentleness, doesn't actually necessarily mean that they're being more violent or physically. So yeah, again,
There's a lot to read into or to find out more.
Le- anyway, let's look at
Our music. How about
the
our
music we're playing:
Yeah.
jazz, blues, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
They've
So-
lumped those three together.
So we like this.
We're playing this. We like this. What are they saying about it?
Well, people who enjoy jazz, blues, or soul music were found to be more extroverted with high self-esteem. They also tend to be very creative, intelligent, and at ease.
I have no problem with that
Yeah, I
whatsoever.
don't have problem with
Case,
that. too.
case closed. Jazz, blues, and
Yeah.
soul music is best.
Now, I like the fact that it's, it does, the music that we play does put me at ease, I relax, I enjoy, I sit back, I can sit back and listen. It can get really emotional too with the playing of the words or whatever, but
Right.
still, because the fact that you can sit back and listen, enjoy it is well, relaxed time.
And well, for me, like, although I've complained about like the association of other genres of music, there definitely, for me, in my mind, is a strong association between these three genres of music. You can find lots of quotes. We were quoting earlier, but you'll find lots of quotes from blues musicians and jazz musicians talking about the strong link between them. That people like Charlie Parker, said that blues is, the heart of jazz, and many different quotes about this. And also, when you think of like soul music, that just we're kind of just talking about music that has that warmth of emotion, right? It's a warmth,
Yeah, I think so.
and
Soul. That's why they came out with the name soul music.
and Esperanza Spalding has a song called "Jazz Ain't Nothing But Soul." There's a link. It's basically, particularly Black American music. There's that strong link of the origins of it, connections throughout it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So maybe we should play what's her name, Esperanza.
We could do.
But well, you have lined up something.
I've got some stuff lined up, but we definitely
Sonny
could play.
Rollins will have to make
Yeah.
sure we play that.
Right now, we're gonna play Sonny Rollins.
Please.
Sonny, please. This is for you,
For
Tom. And
Tom.
if you have any more requests or any thoughts about our topic, send them in. Relax Time Radio on YouTube or Facebook. All right. Back soon.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
We're back. That was Sunny Please by Sonny Rollins. Impeccable taste as always from Tom there.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that one, Tom. Thanks very much. And then Wayne Shorter at his most fearlessly experimental Condition Red from the Phantom Navigator album. That was for you, Steve. So we got no more requests in currently, but we've got some cool songs lined up.
Mm-hmm.
We could.
Is it time to say goodbye first, or we'll come back
I
again?
don't know. Maybe we'll come back again. Maybe play a couple of songs, come back. This because I've been looking for Dirty Dozen brass band songs, but I found this one that they did with Norah Jones called "Ruler of My Heart."
Okay.
And something from Dr. John to follow that. So I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play this, and we'll come back in a few minutes.
Cool.
This is the Dirty Dozen brass band featuring Norah Jones, "Ruler of My Heart."
Ruler of my heart, robber of my soul, where can you be? I wait patiently. My heart cries out, pain inside. Where can you be? I wait patiently. When you're alone, the going gets rough. Come back, come back, come back, baby. I've had enough. Make me a queen, happy again. Hear my cry and ease my pain. When you're alone, going gets rough. Come back, come back, come back, baby. I've had enough. Make me a queen, happy again. Hear me cry and ease my pain.
I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. I done said the right thing, but it must have used the wrong line. I've been on the right trail, but I must have used the wrong car. Hit us in a bad security. But I've been in the wrong place, but it must have been the right time. I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong song. I've been in the right vein, but it seems like a wrong on. 'Cause I've been in the right world, but it seems like a wrong, 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 wrong. Slipping, dodging, sneaking, peeping, hiding out down the street. See my life shaking with every who I meet. Refract confusion is making itself clear. Wonder which way I go to get on out of here. 'Cause I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. And I done said the right thing, but it must have used the wrong line. I took the right road, but I must have took a wrong turn. I took a right move, but I made it at the wrong time. I've been in the right trip, but I made it in the wrong call. Headed in a good place, and I wonder what's bad for.
been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Okay, so that was the Dirty Dozen Brass Band and Nora Jones, Rule of My Heart. Then Dr. John with Right Place, Wrong Time. That was pretty funky.
Yeah.
And then another request for Tom, Stevie Wonder, Sejuk. I couldn't work out which Chris Kane song to play, so we went with Stevie Wonder.
Okay. Oh, that was fun though.
Yeah. Okay, so that's about all of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
For us?
Oh, we've got.
Well, I'm going to play
8
another song,
minutes.
of course.
Of course, yeah.
I've got one lined up, something really mellow and perfect for the time. Chet Baker, I Waited for You. So we'll let Chet Baker play it out.
And thank you for listening.
Thanks
to
so much,
tonight's show.
everybody, for listening and the requests.
Yeah, that's good.
Hope you enjoyed some of the musical quotes and possibilities of musical interpretation and your personality.
Yes, that's true. I think I'm going to read up a little bit
Yeah,
more
yeah,
about it.
worth studying a bit more, I think, definitely. All right, so Jacqueline will be here tomorrow with Women Only,
Yeah.
and we'll be back next week,
Yep. Next Sunday.
next Sunday,
Yeah, the 19th.
19th.
Yeah, I've lost track of dates.
Yeah, actually, next week I wonder,
Maybe you won't make it.
I have to work something out next
We'll
week because I've
figure
got a
something, yeah.
conflict, but yeah. All right, I'll definitely be back next week on Friday, possibly Sunday. Okay, good night, everybody. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed the show. This is Chet Baker. I Waited for You.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
สถานีวิทยุกระจายเสียงแห่งประเทศไทยและเครือข่ายทั่วประเทศเสนอข่าวต้นชั่วโมงรู้เร็วรู้จริงเกาะติดทุก